Hey folks, this is Mr. Good, and we're talking about 1.2.1 firewalls and malware. This is your helpful hints video. Couple things. Make sure you spend time, going through the vocabulary because there's a lot of weird stuff like LAN. It's a word that's used a lot for a local area network. Topology is how it looks, and take the time to go through like the most basic computer setup where you're just hooked to a server or you're hooked through switches or you're connected to a router. This is more often what happens at home if you have a plugged-in computer. You're hooked into a router. Most people's internet modem has both a switch and a router built into it. And this is probably even more common, which is the wireless. So you connect to that wirelessly and it connects to the internet. So take time and go through all of these services that your computer can have because there's a lot of places to attack, which brings you up to the weakest link. If any part of your computer's weak, that is where it's going to get attacked. So take some time to go through, read it carefully, because this stuff will show up on the end project. The stuff we're doing in here to make your computer more safe. This part you can just snip and read all the main types of malware. I don't think they didn't put ransomware on here, which is definitely a very common one. So we'll have to look up ransomware later. All right, then you get into the lab. And the first part of the lab is pretty easy, so read that with the pop-up boxes and stuff like that. I wanted to get into the protecting your operating system because when you go to the Start button and do Windows Update, it doesn't quite work right. And I wanted to show you that's okay. At least you're going to try. So we're going to go up here and do Windows Update. And at first, if you do check for updates, I don't think it will. Oh, it does. No, it says something went wrong. So go to change settings, and it was when you first go in here, it says never check for updates. That's really bad. So you change it to install updates automatically. And it says, okay, mine says no updates available. Okay, good. When I did this earlier, it would try to and say there's an error when I tried to update. So if you do that, just go back in again, I guess, and change your settings like I just did to off and then back on. And then if you check for updates, even though it says it can't, it looks like it did. It says they're updated. I did it in the morning here. So if an error happens, it's okay. Know that this part isn't quite working right. There's some sort of error in our virtual machine. Then you can do the control panel thing. That's pretty easy to do. And then I wanted to get to some firewall protection because it's a little weird. It's basically building a wall between your computers and the outside world to be more safe. So it says here you want to search for Windows Firewall. So you go back in and you're going to go through step by step, but I'm just showing you a couple things. Oops. Windows Firewall. Okay. So definitely check your firewalls, make sure they get turned on. Nice. Okay, and then this is where it gets interesting. You go to advanced settings and we can actually mess with individual things here. I'm going to go to advanced settings, and up here in the top left is inbound rules, because even with their regular settings, they have some stuff that's not very safe in here. If we look at inbound rules, that's basically all the rules that allow things to come into your computer. And we're trying to put up a wall to stop the bad stuff. One of the things that's bad is FTP. It's a file transfer protocol. It's basically, are you allowing people to send stuff to your computer? So luckily this is in alphabetical order, so I'm going to scroll down and see if there is any FTP going on here. Here it is. Boom. There's 3 of them. See them? And they are all enabled. See the word yes here? Yes, yes, yes. That's actually not the best idea. Outbound rules, you can look at these by clicking up here. And you can see, is outbound FTP working? Yes and yes. That's okay, because I don't care if I'm allowed to send people files. I'm worried about what people are allowed to send to me. So my concern is the inbound rules. And what we're going to do in a second here is look at our FTP traffic in, and we're going to disable this, because let's go back to inbound, scroll down to FTP, this guy, and basically I want to disable this rule. You can do it over here. See how it says the name after I highlighted it? I think I could right click it. Yeah, if you right click it, which is a double click, I can disable that rule. See how it switched to no? And I can disable this. What we're doing is we are making it so some random person can't send us malicious files. Okay, you could turn them back on if you wanted. Okay, so FTP are things you want to keep people from being able to send you. Whenever you make the changes, keep a record of what you changed. Okay, so you'll be like, all right, I changed my firewall configuration, I disabled all FTP. Write that in your notebook, because when you get to the end project, this is one of your rules that you're going to have to do, because it's just going to say secure the computer. You have to remember, one of the things to secure my computer is to turn off FTP, so people can't just send me files if they feel like it, because they could have, bad stuff in them. Another way to find good or bad stuff is allowing or denying access to certain ports, because when someone sends you something through the web, it usually comes in port 80 or port 443, depending if it's encrypted or not. So those are 2 numbers you need to remember. And we need to deny all HTTP traffic, because this is not a web server. This is just our computer. So if you see, how do we find that? I need to scroll over. Where's my ports? Should be able to search by port. Oh, here it is, local port. So if I search by port, and I'm looking for 80 and 443. Maybe if I click this, oh yeah, there, it organized it now. So I'm looking for 80 or 443. There's 80, 80, 80. Okay. I want to check these. Oh, here's a 443 too. So I want to check, are these enabled? Because they're totally fine on outbound rules. Let me scroll over. See how they're enabled? No, no. Ooh, here's one. There's a yes. That is dangerous, because what you're doing is you're allowing somebody to send you random web stuff. So I want to make sure I disable that one too. You don't want to allow them to do that. And then I need to check up higher for 443. Here's a bunch of 443s, right? 1, 2, oh, just 2 of them. Okay, I want to see if either of those are enabled. This one's a no, but oh, here's one that's a yes. Dangerous, because it just allows anyone from the outside to send you stuff that you didn't ask for on the web, because we're in inbound rules. Now, if we're in outbound rules, I don't care if they're open, because that allows me to send anyone else. Now, I'm not going to do anything malicious with that, but, I just care about what's coming into my computer. So you need to be able to stop FTP from above. by the way, if you search for it by port and not by name, FTP is port 21. And we stopped port 80 and 443 because those are web people being able to send us stuff. And then this says check your outbound. Remember, I don't really care. So keep a list of ports you want to shut down later, because when you get to the project, you're going to have to know to search for port 20 and 21 and 80 and 443. Not easy to remember, right? Okay. All right, so that's it for now. I'll make a different short video on the log files because it's weird, but I don't want to get cut off. I'll check if this last year the antivirus part didn't work when we typed it in. Let me check if it does. I'll do that on the other one. We have a little antivirus software. It's kind of like Norton. And if I hit update now, will it update? I think so. Okay. So anyway, I'll make a little video later. Hopefully that helps you with the ports. And the purpose of knowing your ports is people can send me random stuff if I don't shut those down. All right? And I don't want that. So I'm securing my computer by messing with my inbound rules. All right. Talk to you later, folks.